What's up, you guys? So, I started this podcast and I realized I did not introduce myself. So, let's talk about who am I? So, my name is Zipporah and I had bariatric surgery on July 19th, 2021. My husband had his surgery on June 21st, 2021. So, we did the journey together. And I didn't start documenting my uh, journey on TikTok initially. I just put it in my Instagram story, and uh, slowly I started to integrate TikTok into it. So as I was going through the process, um, stop. So I chose to have weight loss surgery because I felt like this was my last chance. This was a Hail Mary. And I felt like it was either do or die from medicine. And at some point in the pre-op phase, I started to back out. My husband was actually he was actually having second thoughts, and I was so mad at him. I was so mad at him because I'm like, I'm out here, I'm talking about it, I'm sharing my journey, and I think at that time I really was just doing my Instagram story. And I'm like, why would you do this to me? And after I talked to, I think one of my brothers and one of my sisters, processing, for them to help me process it. And I think it was my sister who said, you're going to have to decide if you want to do this for yourself. And so I took a day. I literally took a day and thought about it. And because with me, if I felt, if I sit too long on something, and the more I think about it, it just gets worse and worse as far as like procrastinating. So I took a day to think about it. And I had to really determine if this was for me or if I was doing this for Darnell. So initially, my husband had the idea of weight loss surgery. And I just was like, oh, okay, cool. I'm supporting you or whatever. And then I was like, you know what? If you want to do this, I'll do this with you. And I was like, because I firmly believe we're stronger together. We do things together. We're on the same page. We're successful with it. So he said, okay. I'm like, okay, cool. I was like, it's not like I can't stand to lose, drops. I can't stand to benefit from having bariatric surgery. So I'm like, okay. So we start going through the process, and he started having second thoughts, probably just fear, and then he put the fear in me, and I'm just like, man. So when I took that day, I took a step back. I took that day, I thought about it, and before weight loss surgery, I had I was pre-diabetic, so I think the numbers for diabetes, or to like get on medicine or insulin or whatever, is 6. I was at I was like 5.98 or something. I was up there really high, and I was there for a very long time. And it got to the point where my doctor, before I had surgery, before I talked to him about it, he was like, we might as well put you on um, insulin. And I said, no, sir. Mm-mm. And he also wanted to put me on, I had high cholesterol, and he also wanted to put me on medicine for that. And I said, no, sir. And I told him, give me a chance to lose the weight, but I didn't. And I was already on blood pressure medicine. I'm still on blood pressure medicine, trying to get off of that. And I'm just like, mm-mm. The one thing I can't do is diabetes medicine. I can't do insulin. My dad died from diabetes. It ate him alive for over 30 years. Actually, over 40 years. So, no, over 30 years. Over 30 years. Because he passed away when I was about 32. And so yeah, so I couldn't allow myself to get on any type of like insulin medicine, um, because I watched how it deteriorated his body, diabetes, and it was a slow death. And I was like, I can't put my kids through that. In and out of hospitals, and I just, no. And the high cholesterol, I just didn't want to be on more medicine. Like, I just didn't want to be popping pills. So for me, weight loss surgery was a necessity, because it was either have the surgery or live on medicine. Because I had to ask myself, will I lose this weight? And I remember telling my mom or my siblings, I remember telling them, I said, I feel like I had 40 something years to lose the weight. I'm 43. I wasn't born 1,000 pounds, but I just feel like, you know, I had, let's say, I don't know, 20 something years to lose the weight, or. And I feel like if I didn't do it within that time frame, and I kept trying different stuff, but I still didn't stick with anything long enough to drop the amount of weight. Instead, I kept gaining the weight. This weight loss surgery is the answer that I needed. And because I said, because being honest with myself, I don't think I'll ever lose the weight. And that's why I decided to have the surgery, because I was honest with myself. And I decided to have the surgery. Like, you have to be honest with yourself. So, as I was going through the process, this nurse told me that a lot of people don't share that they're having weight loss surgery until they're like practically on the table. And I'm like, man. And they said because of the support, they don't have the support system, or people judge them. And I'm like, that's some garbage. Like, that's straight trash. Like, somebody choose to have do something about their health, and you get trashed for it. You get trashed for being fat. You get trashed for having weight loss surgery. And it's like, at the end of the day, you should support my decision to live a healthier lifestyle, regardless if you agree with it or not. Because my thing is, like, as long as, like, you're not doing anything, I don't know, illegal, anything harmful to your body, like anything, crazy or whatever. I mean, you're gonna lose the weight. You support people when they take weight loss medication, right? They popping them pills. You support them, like, oh, go ahead, girl, you're gonna lose that weight. Or are you doing like all these other, like, Slim Fast and Herbalife or whatever you're drinking and to lose the weight? You support people when they do that. Weight loss surgery, you should get that same energy, that same support. So that's how I felt. And I'm like, man. So I started sharing my journey on TikTok for that reason. And I was like, because I'm gonna be the opposite. I'm gonna be the opposite of what other people are doing. So I'm gonna share my journey. I'm gonna share the ups and downs, the uglies, the bads, the goods. I'm gonna share all of it for that reason, because maybe it'll encourage somebody else to speak up to their inner circle, to their friends, to their family, and say, hey, I'm having weight loss surgery, and not give two flying fiddles about what their opinion is of it. And that's why I started sharing it. And then people started, like, really responding to my posts about my journey. And I was like, you know what? I can do more. I can do more. I can build a community, a bariatric community that support people who don't have the support that they need when it comes to weight loss surgery. So, and there's a lot of people out there who don't have the support. So that's why I'm doing a virtual bariatric meetup. I have a Facebook group for anybody who had or is thinking about having weight loss surgery, and I have my podcast. And all of this is just ways to communicate with anybody who does not have the support that they need when it comes to when it comes to having weight loss surgery, and they don't have the support. Like, I'm being the support. I'm sharing my journey. I'm talking to you. I'm sharing my journey with you, so that way, you can find something in it, hopefully, that will help you. Encouragement or motivation, or just listening to my struggles or my non-scale victories and other victories, and know that I'm going through it with you, and you're not alone. See, that's the most important thing, because I remember when I went when me and my husband was going through it, like right after surgery, like we didn't know what the heck we were doing, and we didn't find people who knew what they were talking about and who knew what they were doing, and we were just like, it was trial and error, with eating and things like that. And I mean, we figured it out and we're still figuring it out, but it would have been awesome to have the experience of having somebody who already went through it, and listening to their journey, and they're sharing their journey. I'm like, oh, maybe we should try that. Oh, maybe. So whenever I'm asked a question, I'm like, I'm jumping on it from whatever I remember in my first year, because I'm like, this might help somebody out there. When people's talking about stalls, when people talking about meal prepping, and then they're talking about the things that they're eating, and everybody's journey is different, but that doesn't mean that like you can't take little snippets from somebody else's journey and see if it'll help you on your journey. So that's who I am. That's why I'm sharing my journey. That's why I'm starting my podcast, and everything else that I have in mind for the bariatric community is to help the bariatric community, to help anybody who might need support or encouragement, and while they're on this journey. And if they don't have it in real life, I will be, your virtual supporter until, we have a real life meetup. That's coming soon too. So if you guys know anybody who had weight loss surgery, send them this podcast. Just let them know, like, hey, it's this lady out here who's really trying to help the community. Take a listen, and maybe she can help you. And it doesn't matter if they're just starting or if they're like 40 years out. I want to talk to everybody. I want to talk to anybody who had weight loss surgery, especially those who 5, 10 plus years, and they're like successful in it. Even people who have to have like a revision and stuff like that. There's no shame in it. It is a work in progress. It is losing weight. So I hope you guys have an amazing day. Thank you for listening. Peace.